So if you're new to our channel, my name is Chris.
I'm Marianne.
And we have just got back from 5 months backpacking around Central America.
Yeah, absolutely fabulous experience. We visited all the countries in Central America.
We did. We visited every single country, and now we're back in the not so sunny UK. And in this episode, to finish off our series on backpacking through Central America, we're going to share with you our tips for staying safe during your backpacking holiday.
Indeed, there are very basic tips, but if you've never travelled very far and you're a little bit uncertain or nervous, we hope to alleviate any worries that you have. One of the first tips for us would be make sure that you travel and arrive at your destination during daylight hours. It just saves you wandering around in the dark, not knowing where you're going.
Especially if you arrive and have trouble finding a hostel or something, you know, the last thing you want to do is be walking around in the dark. So that leads nicely onto tip number 2, which is, if possible, have your hostel or some kind of accommodation booked in advance. Again, you don't want to turn up and find that you can't find any accommodation.
Absolutely. And also, tip number 3 for us would be talk to your hotel and the people that own the accommodation. They will be instrumental to giving you the best tips that you need on places where to go, where not to go, and also give you local information and helpful tips on food and other services that you need.
And your hostel owner will tell you all of the places that you can go, and you should ask them if there's any areas that you should avoid, or whether it's safe to go out at night. Some places that we went, we were able to go out at night. Sometimes we went out with locals, and there were other times where, like Guatemala City for example, where we were recommended not to go out once it got dark. So always listen to the hostel owners. That's a great tip there. So our 4th tip to staying safe in Central America is remove expensive jewelry and tech. So what we mean is, don't walk around flashing a very expensive watch or necklace or rings, because this is just a temptation, and you're obviously in a country or countries where people are not as privileged as we are back home. And also, don't walk around flashing your tech. We obviously, with our YouTube channel filming for you guys, we walked around with cameras and microphones, but we didn't do it at night time. So, you know, when you're walking around, for example, with your mobile phone, looking at Google Maps, don't walk around at night with your mobile phone out. Look at the map before you start walking, because that would be just asking for trouble.
Tip number 5 for me would be, if you do get into any kind of altercation or any kind of robbery scenario, do not take chase. You are not qualified, you don't understand the laws, you might follow people into an area where you might get lost. So just go back to your hostel or to the local authorities and ask for help. That is what they're there for. So yes, do not take chase, do not put yourself at further risk.
You have to understand, if you do catch somebody that has robbed you, what are you actually going to do? And the chances are that they're going to obviously resist you taking back the item that they have stolen, and that's the last thing you want during your holiday.
This sounds just like normal common sense stuff, but we feel we need to add it in just in case.
So coming in at number 6, this is a very good tip. We carried a fake wallet. Yep, I have it on a chain in my pocket, a wallet that makes it look important because it's on a chain, but it was actually filled with expired credit cards and a little bit of money, so that it doesn't look too obvious and looks like a real wallet. And actually my real credit cards and cash was in a waistband that was under my t-shirt. So that's a good tip. If you do get yourself into an awkward situation, you hand over the fake wallet, and hopefully they will then run off and you haven't actually lost anything.
Indeed, that's such a good tip.
So coming in at number 8, we all like to have a drink whilst we're on holiday, and if you are going to drink, make sure you don't drink so much that you're unable to get home or back to your hostel, or if you have had a little bit too much to drink, or indeed if you just want to get back to your hostel and it is late at night, it's always best to take a taxi or the equivalent in wherever you are. And if you do drink, it's great to do it in a safe environment, like in the hostels. Many of the places that we went to in Central America, in the evening, people go back to the hostels and actually party in the hostels themselves. And that leads on to our final tip. Tip number 9 is respect. Respect the locals. You know, as you're traveling around, if you're respectful to the locals, they will indeed respect you back. Often the customs and the beliefs are not the same as back home.
Yeah.
You know, for example, in Guatemala, some of the local indigenous people, they do not like to have their photographs taken, so don't automatically assume that you can do so without talking to them and asking them. And it's all about respect, and if you follow these simple rules, you will have a great time during your travels in Central America.
Yeah, and this is not naggy or moany, this is to help you enjoy your holiday.
Absolutely.
Because everyone was fantastic, really helpful, and we had a thoroughly safe and enjoyable time for 5 months backpacking around every country in Central America.
We did, and this leads us to the end of our series in Central America.
Yeah.
We have had an absolute fabulous time sharing our experiences as we backpack around Central America, but this is not the end of Tread the Globe. Oh no, because coming very soon in the next episode on Tread the Globe will be, as the t-shirt shows you, van life. Yes, we are back in our Campervan Trudy and we are getting ready to do the trip of a lifetime. We are going to be driving around the world in January 2020 in our campervan. So if you want to see all of our preparations and indeed then see the adventures we get up to whilst we attempt to drive around the world in a 14-year-old campervan called Trudy, then make sure you click subscribe to come with us. Thanks very much for watching.
Indeed.
It's been a pleasure taking you along.
Yeah, take care.